Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Lisa Hughes from WBZ TV and a Boss Biz Woman, and I am honored to be your host and to welcome you to the 2024 Pinnacle Awards, brought to you by the Women's Network of the Greater Boston Chamber of Commerce. This is always an amazing celebration, but today we mark a special milestone. Today and throughout the year, 30 years of the Women's Network. And that idea, 30 years ago, is part of the reason for the amazing buzz in this room right now of 1,100 women and allies coming together to celebrate achievements and accomplishments. And as we look ahead to the next 30 years, we know that the Women's Network will be there as we build our careers and our legacies in Boston. You know that you have an advocate in every community and in every workplace, in downtown, in the gateway cities, at City Hall, and at the State House. We celebrate these victories together with a powerful advocate in the Women's Network. When we talk about the power of ideas and execution and what is possible, I want to take a moment to recognize Amy Danoff, who is with us. Amy is one of the organizers of the women's professional soccer team that is coming to Boston. Woo! Amy, we are so excited about this. Oh, perfect jacket. Boston was the 15th team added to the new professional league, and we cannot wait to see this team take the pitch in 2026. Just the way in which this is helping Boston evolve as an even more exciting sports city. It's great to be a part of it. Amy, it's so nice to have you here today, and thank you so much for your leadership. As many of you know, it is a special honor for me to host the Pinnacle Awards, and I just bless the Chamber every year for holding this in late January or early February because it is so desperately dreary outside, and we create our own sunshine in here. I think the red boots was just a testimony to what I needed today, and it was that and coming into this room with all of you. To be able to celebrate women who are lifting one another up, who are testing themselves, and who are setting the bar so high is just a special gift. We know that there are people, despite the 1,100 in this room, who couldn't be here today. And this is where we can use social media for good. There is so much wisdom that will come from this stage with our 10 incredible honorees. If you hear something that moves you, if there is energy you want to capture in a photo, put it out on social media, and let's get the Pinnacle Awards trending again. It's hashtag Pinnacle Awards, just tag @Boston Chamber to get that reposted, and perhaps next year we'll be able to test the boundaries of this room even more. And speaking of the room, just let's take a moment to recognize the staff here at the Omni Boston Seaport Hotel. We love this space. You do an amazing job, and we are so grateful to you. Our honorees this year have shown an incredible commitment to leadership, to their workforce, to their community, to one another. And I know that you will be inspired when you leave here today. We will begin the awards presentation in just a few minutes. Most of you know this, it is a working lunch, so if you haven't already started your delicious meal, feel free to do so. And with that, let's get the program started. Please join me in welcoming to the stage another past Pinnacle honoree, Women's Network Chair, co-founder and managing partner at Meteor Consulting, and most importantly, someone who always supports other women, my friend, Susan Locanto-Penta.
Welcome. How is everybody today? Woo! Thank you, Lisa, and good afternoon. I'm thrilled to be here with you at one of the largest and most notable celebrations recognizing the most impactful women leaders in the Commonwealth. Celebrating together at Pinnacle sets a tone of excellence for the rest of the year. And in addition to our amazing Pinnacle honorees, as Lisa said, we're also here to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the Chamber's Women's Network. We've made meaningful progress during these 30 years, and we're not stopping here. Few examples: Deloitte's Board Ready New England program, in which the Chamber is a proud partner, has already helped place women on 69 private and public company boards since 2017. In addition, the Chamber issued a call to action to the business community to commit to board diversity. The Chamber publicly announced board diversity goals, and we successfully reached gender parity 2 years earlier than our goal. As a board member of the Chamber myself, I'm proud to share that our Chamber board reached gender parity and is 52% women today. Thank you. As we celebrate together today, we want to let you know that this is your network, this is your community. Whether you're new to Boston, a lifelong resident, entrepreneur, board member, apprentice, or a CEO, our power is in our diversity. Across industries, across career journeys, across backgrounds and years of experience. I couldn't do this work without the fierce leaders joining me, so I want to recognize our stellar Women's Network Advisory Board and its many members that are here with us today. We continue to champion the professional development of women in every industry. With the Chamber's Women's Leadership Program, we have had 1,200, so 1,200 graduates in workplaces throughout the Commonwealth. That's a big deal. We have an exciting recruitment announcement today. Our Women's Leadership Program, the most competitive professional development program in the region, is now accepting early and rolling nominations for both its in-person and virtual cohorts. The QR codes are on your table, and they open our digital Pinnacle program, where you'll find the Women's Leadership Program information. The person you nominate today might be on this stage in just a few years accepting their award. We also have members of the Women's Leadership Program, class of 2024, with us here. Be sure to connect with these women leaders, yay, who are shaping the future of their companies and our region. I want to take a minute to thank our academic partner, Simmons University, and our sponsor, Holland and Knight, I don't know where you are, for our support in the 2024 class. I hope you'll join us at the Women's Network convenings and events throughout the year. We've tried to create varied content, times, and places. We need your voice. We need your vision. I promise you'll be inspired and empowered. And with that, I am going to welcome one of the most empowering individuals I know, Celia Risha, Senior Vice President of Strategic Initiatives and Policy, to the podium.
Thank you, Susan. There's no one I would rather follow in every sense of the word, so thank you. On behalf of our CEO, Jim Rooney, I'm thrilled to welcome you all to the 30th Pinnacle Awards. When the Women's Network began, I was in elementary school, and a good portion of today's workforce wasn't even born. So stop and think about that. I did, and I wanted to know what made this Women's Network stand the test of time. It launched as a necessary platform for women to see themselves in commerce and in community, to get credit for their work and their vision. The importance of recognition is why the awards continue to thrive. As you hear from our honorees today, I want you to think of your own workplaces and your own networks. Who will be on this stage in the coming years, like Susan said? How can we champion them to ensure their success? That is the call of action to all of us. And as the renowned philosophers of our time, Destiny's Child, once said, "Say my name, say my name." Whose name will you say when it's time to elevate someone, when it's time to give out that plum project, when it's time to do succession planning? As you say those names, consider their current experience, but also, more importantly, be sure to see their unlimited potential. At the Chamber, I have experienced the power of Jim, my own CEO, saying my name and validating my potential. So thank you, Jim. Jim and our team have not only talked about equity, but have acted, investing in the growth of my colleagues and me, offering opportunities, affirmation, and yes, recognition. That's how we lengthen our lead as the most vibrant and successful business community in the country, by not stopping or slowing down. We must move forward together with even more urgency as we advocate for further change in the next 30 years. And today's Pinnacle Awards would not be possible without that great business and civic community. As I thank these leaders and companies, please hold your applause till the end. You were here last year. The orchestra is not done playing for a while. First, I want to start with our longtime and committed presenting sponsors, starting with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts. They're amazing, but Seyfarth Shaw, the TJX companies, and I also want to thank this year's supporting sponsors, the majority of which are small, women-led businesses. Thank you to Susan Esper, Jess Ackerman, Deloitte, Katie O'Neill, and Suffolk for sponsoring our past Pinnacle honorees. 60 past honorees across 3 decades of awards are here today, which is great. You can clap for that, okay. Thank you to our media partner, WBZ, and to the incomparable and most humble Lisa Hughes. And thank you to our many corporate table sponsors and our chamber members for your support, not just today, but throughout the year. We have many special audience members joining us today, including our governor and our mayor and many elected and appointed officials. I won't name them all, but we just thank you profusely for your leadership on behalf of the Commonwealth. A big reason why we continue to fill up this room year after year is because of the powerhouse team that seamlessly brings this program together. I want to thank my colleagues and friends who made today possible. Danielle Dory, Ange Medina, Erica Deese, Lauren Cohen, Charlene Arivo, and Casey Baines. Let's give them all a huge round of applause. I am now honored to introduce our mayor, Michelle Wu. Mayor Wu is a champion of the chamber, and she's a longtime advocate for women, families, small businesses, and our residents. As a kid of immigrants who grew up in Rosendale and went to Boston Public Schools, not far from where the mayor resides with her own family, I am humbled to welcome the first woman and person of color elected mayor, Michelle Wu, to the stage.
Give it up for Celia. We got the red memo going also. And I'm resisting every urge not to belt out Destiny's Child right now. Thank you so much for your leadership. Thank you to Jim and the entire chamber. Thank you to everyone who's taken the time to be here today and now for decades holding up a legacy of a very important set of recognitions for individual leaders who mean so much to us, but also to make a collective statement about our values as a Commonwealth, as a business community, and as a larger community. Jim is an example of leadership that not only walks the walk, but also makes the larger case and helps educate and set the tone for how we all can shape our own actions and organizations. That equity and diversity and inclusion isn't just about doing the right thing, it's also the smartest business decision for everyone to be able to keep growing in our economy and with each other. That the only way we can fully lengthen our lead is to tap into every single talent that is available and to put in the investments that will deliver those returns for us. So thank you, Jim. I'm honored to be here today with some of the incredible leaders that I am blessed to work alongside. Our Chief of Staff, Tiffany Chu, is here. Our Chief of Housing, Sheila Dillon. Our Chief of Community Engagement, Brianna Malore. Thank you, and thank you to our entire cabinet. I want to recognize Governor Maura Healey, our So happy to have her partnership at the state. I know she'll be on the program a little bit later, and the members of her team who are here today, Secretary Yvonne Howe, Undersecretary Ashley Stolba. Thank you for what you do, and thank you to all of the secretaries and the cabinets who are represented at the state level. I'm also told that District Attorney Kevin Hayden is in the house, as well as, thank you. I don't know where Kevin is. And thank you to former Governor Bill Weld, former Secretary Rosalyn Acosta, former Secretary Jay Gonzalez, and so many distinguished current and former leaders at every level of public service. I'm grateful to have your footsteps to follow alongside. We are here to celebrate the leaders in business, government, and academia, in law and healthcare and finance, across sectors and industries who are making our city and our Commonwealth a better place for all of us. For 3 decades, the Pinnacle Awards have created this space to center women who have refused to let others define their path forward, who have never given up on their vision of success for themselves, their families, their communities, and the next generations to follow. I will personally say that the recognition that comes from this organization is incredibly meaningful. A number of years ago, when I still qualified for the Young Leaders Program, being in that list of 10 people who were highlighted at an early stage in my career in Boston, it meant the world. It opened doors, but more importantly, it also gave me a sense of confidence and belonging that this was a community that I could continue to help open doors and make sure that everyone was walking through them. That's exactly what we look to each of these Pinnacle honorees in their career and their legacy. So to all of this year's honorees, from our chief executives to chief justices, founders, senior partners, presidents, and chiefs of staff, congratulations and thank you. You create jobs for our residents, retain and attract the brightest talent, and are the driving force behind Boston's position on the cutting edge of policy, technology, and industry. When the rest of the nation looks to our city and state as an example, they're really looking to you. And your leadership couldn't be more important in this moment. Many around the room might feel a same sense of a little bit of challenge and sometimes frustration when you look at the national headlines, when we see states around the country where leadership isn't being celebrated fully, where full access to tapping into every talent isn't at the top of the priority list. And particularly, it can feel like in this moment, in our divided politics and so many of the issues that are on the table, it can feel like women and our leadership is on the chopping block. For many of us, that's nothing new, that feeling. And maybe now, hopefully, the voices are just online rather than across the table or in the office next door. But the message has been the same, that there are extra barriers and there's a sense of having to overcome even more to be able to take your rightful place at that table and to open the doors for others. We are the mirrors for what we celebrate across our community. Leadership, compassion, inclusion, and a sense that we won't give up until we have the future that we deserve in this Commonwealth and city. So I want to thank every single person in this room for the work that you do to make sure Boston and Massachusetts stands out as that example of a community that is moving forward despite real challenges in the larger world and the larger economy, a community that comes together across all sectors and industries, and a community that knows we are at our best when we are investing in each other. Some of this work is bearing real fruit in the city of Boston. Last year, the Boston Women's Workforce Council found that the gender wage gap shrunk for the first time since they started reporting in 2016. It is a wonderful sign that we are moving in the right direction, but the gaps and the racial disparities remain large, and we have a lot more work to do. But it is because of the collaborations and the determination of those who have been at the table that we are increasingly in a position to make decisions to create safer, smarter, fairer, and more prosperous workplaces and shaping a better future for all. We can't stop now. The doors that we have all worked to collectively throw open won't stay open on their own. So our future depends on the actions we take today. how we celebrate each other, how we support each other, how we encourage and affirm our young people to show up and trust that they belong in all of these rooms. So thank you again to the Chamber for continuing the Pinnacle Awards and initiatives like the Women's Network. Thank you for all your actions to ensure that everyone belongs and is seen and valued and empowered in our Commonwealth. And thank you for inviting me to be a part of this celebration so that we can continue our collaborations together. Congratulations.
Thank you for your leadership, Mayor Wu, and for being with us here today. All right, so Lisa, like I said, is our MC, but I couldn't help myself, and I had to hold the mic so I could introduce our first honoree. So with that, I'm gonna get our awards program going. Are we ready? All right. I am honored to present the Pinnacle Award for the Advancement of Women Professionals to Ivon Garcia. Chief of Staff to Chairman and CEO Ron O'Hanley and Global Head of Internal Comms and CEO Experience Program at State Street. Ivon leads the Chairman and CEO's firm-wide strategic priorities, the internal communications for 40,000 employees, and the engagement of clients representing more than $9 billion in revenue. Her impact extends nationally. Governor Healey appointed Ivon to the Advisory Council on Latino Empowerment. Ivon helped launch Small Business Strong during the pandemic. She served as chair of Alpha and is co-founding chair of Milagros para Niños at Boston Children's Hospital. Ivon also serves on the Chamber's Executive Committee, co-chairing NomGov. And as Susan said, we hit gender parity this past year, and no doubt Ivon's leadership was vital to that milestone. Ivon reminds us, don't settle, nurture your networks, be intentional, work hard, and most importantly, be kind. With that, come and accept your award, Ivon Garcia.
Thank you, Celia. You are truly the heart and soul of the Chamber. At a very young age, my mother used to say, "Dime con quién andas, y te diré quién eres." Tell me who you associate with, and I will tell you who you are or will become. My mother was right. For 3 consecutive years, I stood on this very stage handing out awards to our formal Pinnacle honorees. Therefore, it's quite humbling to now be on the receiving end. I'm grateful for the unexpected twist of recognition in a journey that began by celebrating so many incredible women. And congratulations to my fellow 2024 Pinnacle honorees. It is truly an honor to share the stage with you. I spent some time reflecting on what afforded me this great recognition, and 3 symbols came to mind that define my personal and professional journey. My mother's red lipstick, the little blue kindergarten chair, and the Dominican embassy. Allow me to begin with my mother's red lipstick. You see, my mother worked as a phlebotomist for 37 years in a hospital in Harlem. After immigrating to the United States, her life goal was to provide the best education possible for my siblings and I. Working double shifts, she knew that she would go an entire day without seeing her children. So she would come into our room in the morning, put on bright red lipstick, and kiss each of us on our forehead. I would run to the mirror in the morning looking for that lipstick mark. Although this moment may seem small to some, for me it represented a lot. That lipstick mark represented my mother's presence, her strong work ethic, and her dedication to do anything possible to provide us with the opportunity. It was actually that very same lesson that encouraged me to say yes when I was offered an expat assignment in China when my children were 1 and 5, a decision in my career that propelled me to new heights. But my mother did not do it alone. See, my dad was a jeweler, entrepreneur, and this brings me to the little blue kindergarten chair, a man who was extremely active in our upbringing. My dad took me to my very first day of kindergarten. I was terrified. I remember negotiating with the teacher, telling her that the only way I would enter the classroom was if she promised that my dad would be there at recess. She agreed, And at recess, the door opened, and there was my 6'1" dad sitting on a little blue kindergarten chair. Looking back at that moment, it made me realize the important role men play in the lives of independent women, from helping raise them to becoming profound allies and sponsors. There's actually one very important ally in the room today to me. He actually maneuvered around his midterm exams to make sure he was here today. So thank you, Max, for being here. I love you. Finally, I can't remember a day growing up where it was just our nuclear family in our home. And this brings me to the Dominican Embassy. When my parents immigrated to the United States in 1961, their door was always open for family and friends that were looking for an opportunity in this great country. My parents understood the importance of paving the way for others and what it means to build and nurture a culture of philanthropy. These lessons instilled in me how important it is to give back to your community and serve others. For me, it came in the form of serving and leading the largest Latino professional organization in this country, Alpha, for over 22 years. Leading Small Business Strong, where we have helped 3,500 minority and women-led businesses in the Commonwealth navigate through the pandemic and prepare for the future, guided by the vision of many leaders here today across all sectors. And lastly, co-founding Milagros para Niños, where we have raised over $10 million in support of Hispanic Latino children who cannot afford medical care at Boston Children's Hospital. As is true with many leaders, I was not able to accomplish this all alone. These examples are simply outcomes of surrounding yourself with individuals who lead with purpose and passion, and importantly, understand the importance of having a woman at the table. And let's be real, who quite frankly know that if you want to get the job done, just put a woman in charge. You're welcome, Ron. It seems to me that Mayor Wu agrees. In all seriousness, Ron, thank you for being one of my greatest allies throughout my career. Thank you very much. Allow me to conclude with a message of gratitude and purpose. I am honored to receive this Pinnacle Award. However, my journey does not end here. In fact, it's quite the opposite. You see, this award serves as a reminder that my potential is not limited to what I have achieved so far, rather to the promise of an expansive future, fueled by a desire to continue to learn and grow and seek higher aspirations. I'm committed to continuing to do my part to contribute to the ever-changing society and, importantly, ensure women empowerment and gender parity remain an imperative. As a woman's strength is found not just on her own success, but also that of other women and the community around her. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Ivon. And Max, good luck on your midterms. Our next Pinnacle Award is for Emerging Executive, and our honoree is Caitlyn Dodge, CEO of Argus, a marketing and communication strategies firm. As CEO of Argus, Caitlyn drives the vision of the company's impactful and insightful marketing and communications in every industry. Beginning her journey as a senior account manager at Argus, she advanced the company's goals while successfully taking on the roles of account director and then chief operating officer before becoming CEO. Her immense commitment to the company's purpose, as well as her industry expertise, drives client loyalty and community impact. All of us have seen the powerful campaigns and the products of Caitlyn's executive leadership, serving the largest and most prominent government agencies, from mission-driven nonprofits and life-saving hospitals. Caitlyn and her team have built transformative campaigns that have lasting impact. In Caitlyn's Argus office, Colleagues speak at least 4 different languages, and her diverse agency is working to close the gaps in health, wealth, climate, and education. Caitlyn reminds us that courage is more important than confidence. When activating your courage means that you get something totally wrong, look at it, learn from it, gather your courage again, and move on. Caitlyn, congratulations.
Thank you so much, Lisa, and thank you to the Chamber. It is such an honor to be among these amazing women. I've been at this event for a few years in a row, and last year I actually reached out to one of the people who spoke because I loved her speech so much and wanted a copy. So thank you. When I look at my career so far, there are a few moments that really stand out to me. And I'm talking about the kind of moments where the world totally stands still and a truth just smacks you right in the face. One of those moments happened to me when I was leading a presentation to a client that I just could not get behind. I was a young woman trying to make my way in the world, chomping at the bit to contribute and make a noticeable impact, and I suddenly realized that I was presenting solutions that, if effective, would bring success and money to a client that I fundamentally disagreed with at my core. How many of us have been in that spot before? You're working hard, you're working late, you're pushing yourself, all for an outcome that you don't even really want. And it was in that moment that I realized that my values did not align with the company's values, and I didn't believe in the company's vision. And I was never going to succeed or feel fulfilled, no matter how hard I worked. Okay, lesson learned. And I set off to find something new. And I was looking for one thing. I was looking for a company where I could align with the values and I could really commit to the vision. And I found Argus, an agency that works with world-bettering clients. And I really began to understand the magic of aligning your work to your values. My hard work was paying off not just for the company, but for myself as well, my own personal growth. And when I brought ideas, bold ideas to the table, I wasn't hearing, no, not in this company. I heard a lot more yes. And also, I was more humble and able to learn because I trusted my boss's intentions. So in the spirit of the advice question that the Chamber asked, my advice is to those who are working really, really hard but not feeling fulfilled. Find a company whose values align with your values and where you can really believe in the vision. Because there you'll find that your growth corresponds with the company's growth and your success helps build success for the company. Now as CEO, I look for that alignment. It is the secret sauce for bringing people together who are fulfilled and excited, but also really dedicated to magnifying Argus's work. And I want to explain what I mean by alignment. This is what alignment looks like to me. When we're in alignment, we can disagree intensely, but our debate is fruitful, and the conversation sparks clarity, not resentment. That tension, it sparks ideas, not fires. When we're in alignment, everyone understands when we decide to pass on an opportunity that looks great financially, but would betray our company values. And when we're in alignment, people bring me ideas that aren't on my radar, are not part of my plan, and sometimes, in fact, completely mess up the plan that I had, but so clearly support or even catapult us toward the vision that I have to say, let's do it. And for me personally, being in alignment has made me more authentic, brave, and bold. So evaluate who you are, what you want, what are your values, and then find a company where the values mirror your own. Do you want to innovate, save the climate, save enough money to travel the world, or retire early? It is completely up to you. But when you find a company where you align with the values and vision, you'll find that your growth and your success means a lot more. You do not have to agree with every decision made, and in fact, I would advise that you don't. But from my experience, you'll find a lot more fulfillment in your own success and your own growth. Thank you.
Congratulations, Caitlyn. Our next Pinnacle Award is for Achievement in Entrepreneurship. Our recipient is Rudina Seseri, founder and managing partner of Glasswing Ventures. With almost 2 decades of experience, Rudina was recognized on Entrepreneur Magazine's list of 100 powerful women for her leadership at Glasswing Ventures and her implementation of AI into rich, complex business strategies. She leads Glasswing's investments in artificial intelligence-enabled enterprise software and as a service cloud information technology software and vertical markets. Rudina is committed to sharing her vast knowledge at Harvard Business School, where she was appointed to serve as the entrepreneur in residence, and she was named to the business school's inaugural group of Rock Ventures Capital Partners. She also supports the physical and mental well-being of young individuals in her role as the chair of the Philanthropic Board of Advisors at Boston Children's Hospital. Rudina reminds us about the importance of finding your workplace champions. Seek champions over mentors. These are senior management willing to go to bat for you beyond advice and are invaluable. Congratulations, Rudina, on this year's 2024 Pinnacle Award for Entrepreneurship.
Thank you, Lisa, and thank you to the chambers, to the Boston Chamber of Commerce. I am honored and immensely proud to be part of this impactful community today to accept the 2023 Pinnacle Award for Achievement in Entrepreneurship. It is with immense gratitude that I welcome the meaningful recognition of the many years spent cultivating entrepreneurship in our local ecosystem. I will truly hold this moment as a dear and important one. And as we all reflect in such waypoints in our careers, I too will take a little bit of journey in time. I will reflect on the fact that I was raised by a very, very strong mother, a young widow who had 2 daughters to whom she gave love, passion, and above all, the confidence in ourselves and the belief that sky is truly the limit. It was on that basis that as a mother, she found the strength to let go of her 15-year-old daughter, me, to come to the United States from Albania to pursue a better education and bigger opportunities, and here I am. Secondly, I'd like to point to an institution rather than a person, Wellesley College, my alma mater. It is a place where you're given not just the belief, not just the tools to know that you can make a difference in the world, but it is ingrained in you that we are in the world not to be served, but to serve others, to make an impact, to do well, and to do good. Thirdly, I will come to the present and recognize my partner and co-founder at Glasswing Ventures, Rick Grenell. See, Rick Grenell may not be known to you, but is very well known to the venture capital and entrepreneurial community as a brilliant mind out of MIT who made partner in a venture capital firm very early and ushered this one woman's career over 20 years. Furthermore, he listened to this crazy person who said, AI is going to be everywhere. Let's just get up, leave our partner jobs, and start a new firm in 2016, when not just the bigger businesses, but even the entrepreneurship community wasn't sure that there was a thing called AI. Well, we did, and we're immensely proud to be one of the leading firms, venture capital firms, investing in AI today. And thank you. And that brings me to the present, our city and our state. At Glasswing Ventures, we're incredibly proud to be deploying millions of capital to early stage companies founded locally here. The incredible entrepreneurial talent, diverse in background, interests, countries, sexual orientation, and most importantly, in their mindsets, is the totality of this diversity from women and others that generates not just outsized outcomes, but also better lives and a bigger impact for our community. For us, the journey has just begun, and I'm thankful for the opportunities that lie ahead and for this award. Thank you, Jim.
Congratulations, Rudina, and thank you for the contributions and the encouragement for this next generation. That's really going to make Greater Boston an even more dynamic place. Thank you. Our next honoree is the Pinnacle Award for Achievement in Arts and Education, and our recipient is Donna Levin, CEO of the Arthur M. Blank School of Entrepreneurship at Babson College. Donna is a true champion of education, of entrepreneurship, and of journeys to success for students. Before she joined Babson College, Donna held faculty appointments at Harvard Business School, at MIT Sloan School of Management, and she served as the inaugural Executive Director of Innovation and Entrepreneurship at Worcester Polytechnical Institute. Donna was also the co-founder of Care.com, which many of us in this room have used, the world's leading online destination helping families find and manage family care. 33 million people in 20 countries use the service. I thank you for all the great babysitters we have had over the years. Donna has a very important reminder for us today. You earned your seat at the table. Speak up. It is all possible if you get the right team of people together and dream bigger. Donna, congratulations.
Thank you to the Chamber. It's an honor to be here with all of the other amazing female leaders and honorees, the past honorees, and I'm humbled and really excited to be here. And I have to confess, for a person with a bias towards action, I missed every single deadline to be here today. I struggled so much with the notion of having this honor. I went out to my entire community, so you heard that cheer in the background. It's because they know that it was a real struggle for me here today. So I really want to thank all of my lifelong mentors, sponsors, my family, my colleagues, all of you who came here today to make sure I pulled my act together. Thank you. The same week last year, I spoke at my mother's funeral. She was my greatest champion and mentor, and for those of you who knew Emma, you knew she was a no-nonsense optimist. She was always full of advice. Some of her advice was great, and things that we all heard, like treat people how you want to be treated. And some of her advice was advice that should never be shared, like if that kid hits you, you hit him back until someone pulls you off of him. It's just like, oh, okay. She is heavy on my mind and has been for a while, and I would like to share 4 concepts that she instilled into me, and they have served me well throughout my career. The first, it is all about the power of the team. She believed many embody one in mind. Growing up in a single-parent household with my sisters and my younger brother, it was common for my mother to say things like, we're gonna move the house, and we're gonna do it, all of us together, and we're gonna do it by putting everything on my small Toyota. We don't need a moving truck. We got this. That advice about the power a team holds today. Every idea, big or small, has a better outcome when it's driven and implemented by a high-performing team. This holds true in the classroom, sports field, definitely in new ventures. And so for those of you, even today, when given the choice of an amazing idea or following a great team, I always follow the team, and it's part of the reason that there's some teams here today that I've worked with for, I think we decided today it was about a third of our lives. The second, it's the stand-alone spirit. There comes a time in everyone's career where you need to be that lone voice in the room, to push back on an idea, to say something, no, it's really not politically correct, to call out when an idea is ambitious and unattainable, and to speak up for the many voices who are not in the room and may never have a seat in that room. The third is the importance of education. My mom worked multiple jobs and put herself through school, and it was a constant mantra that she heard from her grandmother, who had been born enslaved: education, education, education. Today, for me, this translates into a continuous learning agenda. We just heard about AI, or the robots that are coming to take all of our jobs. The only constant in this world is change. And so if we want to be in rhythm, or dare say ahead one step, we have to have a continuous learning agenda. I took this advice myself, and at 40, it was just yesterday, went back to school, which was a real challenge for my family, for myself. No longer did I have people who did data models for me. I had to do my own data model. And it was the best decision that actually propelled my career forward. The fourth piece of advice is still the hardest for me at times. It's to let your light shine. It's a real challenge for those of us who like to quietly support others and be in the background. On a recent trip to the museum, I was reminded of how hard life was for women in the not-so-distant past. I was so incredibly outraged. I cried. I had to sit down and write as I experienced the stories of those women, and to recognize that still in some parts of the world, and dare say this country, it's not always easy for women. At some point in your history, there's a woman or man who dreamed of a better future. You represent that dream. I represent Emma's dream. So celebrate your accomplishments. I know it's often a feeling if we keep our heads down and we work really hard, someone's gonna notice. They're not gonna notice. You have to speak up. And remind yourself on those tough days, you are enough. And if people don't recognize that you're enough, maybe the values don't align. Maybe it's not the right team. But if you do have the right team, double down with your team. Solve the problem, take the hill. Let your light shine. For all of those who are following your lead, all of those who supported you, and for the millions of women who are cheering you on. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna, and congratulations again, my friend and colleague. So this is really cool for me. It's my pleasure to introduce the 73rd Governor of Massachusetts, Maura Healey, who is a valued partner of the Chamber and the business community. So let's put our hands together for the Powerhouse and 2019 Pinnacle honoree, shining a light on Massachusetts. Also, the best basketball player I think that we know, Governor Healey, to the stage. Which side you're on?
Well, good afternoon, everyone. It is wonderful to be here at the 30th Pinnacle Awards. It's so awesome. I was just sitting with Jim, and Jim, I just commend you and the Chamber team for once again putting on a really fantastic event and a really important event, especially in this time. And boy, to have the privilege to just hear some of our recipients is truly inspiring, and also, I think for all of us, a real boost as we confront challenges, crises, trying times. We look ahead to a year uncertain of what it all will bring. I just think it's more important than ever, as you say, Donna, to shout it out, to lift up these accomplishments, to celebrate these incredible women, and to appreciate the opportunity that we all have collectively in this room to continue to nurture and mentor and support the next generation of Pinnacle Award winners. On behalf of the Lieutenant Governor, Kim Driscoll, and myself and our whole team, we want to bring greetings. We also want to tell you what a tremendous privilege it has been to partner with so many of you in the room. The Chamber, of course, on so many issues that we've been leading into: childcare, transportation, pay equity before that. But as I look across this incredible room gathered here today, I see to a person so many people who've stepped forward in this year, wanting for our success, recognizing that it is about teamwork, and the collaboration that we've enjoyed, the public sector, the private sector, our administration, with all of you, has really been incredible. As the state's first elected woman, and Kim and I are the first 1-2 in the country, I want to tell you what a pleasure it has been to work with so many powerhouse women in and outside of government. I just happened to pass our fabulous Mayor Wu in the hallway coming in. I think about the fact that 4 of the 5 constitutional officers in this state are women. I think about the women who are heading organizations and important institutions, and every day I see women in action in this state. So I'm sure there was reference made earlier to the oversight of Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie, right? Isn't that what the whole damn movie was supposed to be about? Of course they nominate Ken. But we know in this state, right? I mean, but we know in this state, and as supported and celebrated here every year by this great chamber, women are people of action, of incredible competence and compassion, and in this time, when so much is required in terms of leadership and to solve today's challenging problems, collaboration, communication is imperative. I am grateful to all the women who serve and lead and mentor and support. Congratulations to all of today's honorees.
Governor, thank you for addressing the elephant in the room. We can still love Oppenheimer and support Barbie and be angry about the absence. And thank you for always having your clear communication. When we have a question for the governor, she is always there to answer it. And to the mayor's point earlier, how happy are we to live in Massachusetts? There are many great states, but there is only one that I would really want to live in, and it's this one. Let's return to our Pinnacle honorees. And our next honoree is the recipient of the Achievement in Healthcare, and that is Christine Shuster, President and CEO of Emerson Health and a member of the Chamber Board of Directors. As the CEO of Emerson Health, Christine leads a patient-centered care system that provides advanced medical services to more than 3,000 people in 25 of the Commonwealth's towns. As the CEO of Emerson Health, she's recognized for their top patient care. Her leadership of Emerson Health has not only led to life-saving care, but also the kind of care that lifts up whole communities. Before joining Emerson Health, Christine served as president and CEO of the Quincy Medical Center and Athol Hospital and as COO of Tenet St. Vincent Healthcare System Extended Care Division. And just a quick anecdote. During the pandemic, when someone at Emerson Hospital was pitching a story, one of the shining endorsements was this: "You will love our CEO. She was a registered nurse. She comes and checks on us, and she is one of us." And to hear someone say that at what was arguably the toughest time for healthcare professionals spoke volumes about their leader. Christine urges us to find something you love to do and then lift others as you climb. And Christine, thank you for lifting so many others as a leader.
Thanks, Lisa. What an honor it is to receive this award alongside such a remarkable group of women. It really reflects my support that comes from so many different people: my family, my friends, colleagues, and mentors. Even more than the invaluable guidance that they've provided, this award is a testament to the power of staying true to yourself. We all take unique paths that reflect our values. Mine started with my dad, a pharmacist who owned a neighborhood drugstore. I loved watching him in action. He listened to each person's concerns as if they were the only person in the store. He helped them get whatever they needed: medication, a ride to the doctors, and even an ice cream at the soda fountain. He truly epitomized Steve Jobs' quote, "The only way to do great work is to love what you do." And I wanted to do great work. So I started my journey as a nurse, where we put the patient at the center of everything we do. I learned that connecting, empathizing, and advocating for patients is critical. I also learned that navigating our health system is very difficult, and that's really an understatement. What I loved about helping patients was that I could actually make a difference. But if I wanted to have a bigger impact, I needed to migrate from the bedside to the boardroom. As a hospital president and CEO for the past 24 years, let me share with you the secret to my success: authenticity. The relentless commitment to be true to myself. I never forget the powerful impact that listening, connecting, and caring can have on my leadership. Every day, I hold firm to my guiding principles, what I like to call my Shusterisms. I'll spare you my entire laundry list. However, let me share with you a few of my favorites. Shusterism number 1, believe in yourself. And for the record, I was believing long before Ted Lasso was, okay? Why? Because if you don't think you can do it, how can you ever convince anyone else that you can? You are the CEO of your life, so take ownership of it. Don't sit on the sidelines. Don't say no. Be the first one to raise your hand and say yes. Jump into the game, even if it makes you feel uncomfortable. In fact, those are the times you should jump in, because it's that discomfort that lets you know that you're learning and you're growing. Shusterism number 2, be a lifelong learner. Invest in yourself. Take a course, go back to school, get involved, join a network, and read anything that you can get your hands on. And finally, Shusterism number 3, remember, almost everything will work again if you unplug it for a few minutes. Even you. So, With so many of us struggling to find work-life harmony, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, especially in today's day and age. But it doesn't have to be that way. We must normalize resting, relaxing, and recharging. Try it. You'll be really surprised at how much better you feel. I'm grateful to the Boston Chamber for this prestigious honor. Let's empower the next generation to embrace their authenticity, guided by their own Shusterisms. Thank you.
Congratulations, Christine. I kind of want the whole list of Shusterisms, so if they're anywhere, send them to me. Our next Pinnacle Award is for Achievement in Management Nonprofit, and our honoree is Nancy Huntington Stager, President and CEO of Eastern Bank Foundation. Nancy continues to lead our region as a champion of social justice, economic inclusion, and economic mobility. As president and CEO of the foundation, Nancy leads the strategic philanthropy, volunteerism, and civic advocacy. Now at more than $200 million in assets, the Eastern Bank Foundation remains focused on the communities within Eastern's market area, annually providing more than $12 million in grants to more than 1,000 different community organizations, including impact grants focused on creating systemic change. Nancy also co-founded the Foundation for Business Equity, a private foundation incubated within the Eastern Bank Foundation that now has more than $15 million in grants. Nancy wants us all to join her in doing good. You can do well and do good at the same time. Employees expect it, and our communities need it to thrive. Nancy, congratulations.
Well, you can certainly feel the energy in this room. It's great. What a powerful reminder of the talent that is in our Commonwealth. I can remember years ago sitting in one of the corners of this room, being incredibly inspired by the women who were being honored, including the women here today, and thinking, wow, how could I ever have an impact like what they're doing? And so I'm very humbled and grateful for this award. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Celia. Thank you, Chamber. It is possible, and that's the first piece that I want to talk about today, that no matter what you're doing today, with the passion, with the effort, and with the sponsorship of people around you, you can do great things. Through a 40-year career in human resources, 25 years of which were at Eastern, I've experienced a lot of change in my life, some planned, some not so much planned. I made my biggest change in 2020 when I decided to leave human resources and move full-time to our foundation, Eastern Bank Foundation. One of the things that the Chamber asked us to talk about is to provide a little bit of advice. And so I want to talk about change. Change is billed as exciting and challenging, especially when your boss comes and tells you want to change. It's also a bit scary, and it can be a lot uncomfortable at times. In truth, change is happening to all of us every single day. And as a leader, we know we need to prepare our teams and ourselves to identify change, to get ready for it, and to take advantage, position ourselves to take advantage of it. So it sounds very straightforward, right? But we know that change can be hard, or really more closely, we can make change hard on ourselves, because change happens whether we're ready or not. I'd like to share 3 pieces of advice which helped me to surf rather than swim in the waves of change. Mine aren't Shusterisms, but they're close. So number 1 is be open to change and don't constrain your thinking. I learned this one the hard way. I started my career in the high-tech sector. How I made the turn into community banking, that's a whole nother story. When I first heard about Eastern, I had no interest in joining. And I assumed they would have no interest in me because I didn't think I had any relevant experience for community banking. I was wrong on both counts. I had narrowed my thinking to a specific path and was assuming that I wouldn't fit. And so I almost missed a huge opportunity in my life. I was heads down, busy with a job that was taking me around the world, working on challenging assignments, but I still would have missed the best career move in my life. It was the good and solid persistence of a good friend of mine that got me to apply to Eastern. And 29 years later, I'm so glad she persisted. Number 2, know what you don't know. When I moved over to our foundation, I could see the impact that we could have in our communities. And I knew that I needed people who knew a lot more than me about the subjects that were important to us at the foundation so that we could make things happen. I built my team to include people with deep expertise in the areas that were important to our work, people who knew a lot more than me. Sometimes this is discussed as hire people who are smarter than you. But there's an important nuance that's not to be overlooked. It's not really smarter that we're looking for. It's really about blending the skills, knowledge, and attributes that others have built in their own careers in ways that fortify the team and enable us to achieve our mission. And number 3, and this one's crazy simple. It's so simple it's often overlooked. A colleague once said to me, hey, you know, it's okay to have people help you. And she was right. Seeking advice, particularly from people with different journeys and backgrounds, different points in their career, provides well-rounded discussion and helps to avoid blind spots. A team consciously built with diversity of background, interests, skills, knowledge, race, gender, age, and other elements of difference will yield better perspectives, better decisions, and stronger execution. I was lucky to be selected for leadership roles early in my career, and even more fortunate to get sage advice like this. It's easy as a leader to think you're supposed to know what to do in every situation. The simple truth is, there's no way to do that. And in fact, the main ingredients of amazing teams is in the need of each team member to be a part of the answer. In my experience, reaching out simultaneously strengthens the team by making people feel more connected to the work and to me as a leader. And truthfully, it's much more fun and less pressure. Change is inevitable. What we do with it is up to us. So I'd like to thank the Chamber once again and congratulate all of my honorees, the other honorees this year, as well as thank all of the prior honorees for their leadership over the years as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy, and congratulations. And we are so glad your friend talked you into making that change 29 years ago, because Eastern has made the foundation such a difference in this community and so many others. Congratulations. I am excited now to present the Pinnacle Award for Achievement in Management Government to the Chief Justice of the Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court, Kimberly Budd. Chief Justice Budd has a long, distinguished record of public service and leadership in government. After graduating from Georgetown University and Harvard Law School, she was a litigation associate at Mintz Levin, assistant U.S. attorney in the Major Crimes and Drug Unit of the U.S. Attorney's Office, and she was associate general counsel for Harvard University. Continuing to make history, Chief Justice Budd is the first Black woman to serve as the chief of the Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court. Through all of our personal and professional commitments, she reminds us, simply and with clarity, ask yourself how you can make a difference. Chief Justice Budd, congratulations.
Thank you so much, Lisa. And thank you to the Chamber and Jim Rooney. I'm truly honored and humbled to receive this award. And I also want to thank the people who've come to support me this afternoon. My husband, Bill Thompson, my sister, Christy Budd, my mother-in-law, Judge Ann Thompson, and several girlfriends of mine who have come as well. I want to start by saying that I deeply appreciate the support of the Chamber and the business community for the work that we do in the court system. Our courts play a fundamental role in society. In addition to protecting individual rights and ensuring fair treatment for everyone, the court system upholds the rule of law, which in turn helps to maintain the stability and predictability essential for business success. As Chief Justice of the Supreme Judicial Court, I feel particularly fortunate to lead the Massachusetts court system at this particular time, when state courts are so very important. And in serving as Chief Justice, I often think about the examples set by my most recent predecessors. Margaret Marshall, the first woman Chief Justice of the Supreme Judicial Court. Roderick Ireland, the first African-American Chief Justice. And my immediate predecessor, Ralph Gantz, who was the first Jewish Chief Justice. They were all trailblazers, but while their gender, race, or ethnicity was significant, what was more important was who they were as individuals and how they led the court when they served in this role. Having reached a pinnacle of success themselves, they were neither complacent nor self-satisfied. They were willing to critically re-examine the legal system and reassess its shortcomings. They used their power to lift others up, working to ensure that every person has equal access to the fair, timely, and impartial resolution of disputes in courts managed with efficiency and professionalism. I'm grateful to be the beneficiary of their work. Thanks to their efforts, I don't have to convince anyone to make diversity, equity, and inclusion, criminal justice reform, and access to justice priorities for our court system. It's my privilege to build on the foundation that they've already laid. My predecessors also left an important legacy of collegiality, respectful dialogue, and a commitment to excellence within the SJC that continues to guide our work. Thanks to the culture that they've encouraged, my colleagues and I can tackle tough topics and engage in rational debate without rancor or divisiveness. Whether we agree or disagree, we each have the same goal in mind: to do our best to get it right for the people of the Commonwealth. In my own way, I'm striving to emulate, to the best of my ability, the example set by Chief Justices Marshall, Ireland, and Gantz, to continue their practice of critical self-reflection about the legal system while respecting the bounds of precedent and principles, and to carry on the commitment to collegiality, dialogue, and excellence that they encouraged. So in accepting this award, I think of it not as a personal honor, but as a tribute to the values that my predecessors instilled in the court and that continue to inspire our work today. I am so very proud to participate in that tradition, and I hope to preserve and strengthen it for generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Justice, and congratulations. Our next Pinnacle Award is for achievement in management in the private sector, And our honoree is Julie Kim, President of the U.S. Business Unit and U.S. Country Head at Takeda. As president of Takeda, Julie leads the business unit that delivers life-changing healthcare and therapies in neuroscience, gastroenterology, and more. With more than 30 years of experience, she has led teams across the country and around the world, all in an effort to advance and accelerate healthcare. Julie has always been invigorated by a challenge, and she invites us to lean into tough, challenging assignments. She says when given a choice in terms of roles or projects, choose the more challenging one. Challenging roles will take you out of your comfort zone and provide meaningful development opportunities. Julie, congratulations.
Hello, everyone. Well, let me start by saying a big thank you to the Chamber for this incredible honor, and to also acknowledge my fellow honorees. It is really an honor to be in the same group as you. I'd also like to acknowledge the table over there, filled with people from Takeda. It is a it is a privilege to be your leader, and I work every day to earn that privilege. And I also want to thank my family. My son, Kyle, is here with me today, and it is not without the support of family that I can do what I do. I'll share a little story with you that before I took on this role, we were living in Switzerland, and I remember the day I had the conversation with him to say, okay, bud, looks like maybe another move for the family. Here's what's been offered to me. Are you okay if I take it? And he said, yes, Mom, of course. That sounds like an awesome job. Like, okay. Bringing the family along in the journey is a critical part of how I've been able to do what I do and how I've made it to this place today. So thank you. Now, Now, just like some of my fellow honorees, I am going to talk about my parents just for a little bit. I was born in Seoul, South Korea, and it is a very different country than the US, and it was a very different environment that I was born into. And so they made a decision to move to the US because I was born a girl. And this way I could have more opportunity, but also my mother, who had become a practicing physician, which was not the norm. Most women in her day and age went to medical school to find a husband. Now, she did find her husband, but she also wanted to practice. So with those two factors in mind, they made the tough decision to leave their home country and to come to the US. So sometimes I used to say to them, why did you pick Cleveland, Ohio? Apologies to anyone who's from Cleveland, Ohio. But let's just say in the late 60s, early 70s, it wasn't the most diverse place in the US. And so you all know that children always say what they mean, and there's no filter, so it wasn't always the easiest growing up. There were a lot of things that made me feel like less normal, less important, less listened to, less wanted, less welcomed, less included. And that helped shape a lot of my mentality growing up. And then when I went into the corporate world, there was this very defined box of what success looked like. And it didn't look like me. So again, I was made to feel less because I didn't fit into that box. And I spent so much energy trying to contort myself to fit into that box, but fortunately had mentors along the way who helped me to see that actually I don't need to fit into the box. And by trying to fit into the box, I was wasting a lot of my energy that could be more focused on productive things rather than trying to fit into that box. And I'm very thankful to those mentors. And I'm very thankful to those mentors along the way who have helped me to become more comfortable in my own skin. And that's something that I try to continue to do in my role today, whether it's at Takeda or in roles outside of the company, to demonstrate that it's okay to look different, that it's okay to express your views, that it's okay to be comfortable in your own shoes. So you can feel like more, and you can be more than what others may expect of you. So what I'd like to end with is a little bit of advice, and I can't take credit for this because I heard this, it's based on research by a woman named Hannah Riley Bowles, who is a researcher at the Harvard Kennedy School. And she did some work on negotiation and women, in particular in negotiations. And apparently, women negotiate themselves down before the negotiation even begins. And I don't know if you're doing what I did when I heard that. I was like, wow, I do that all the time. Right? How many times before you go into a difficult conversation or you go into a negotiation do you go, well, you know, but if I ask for that, you know, they might think that I'm, you know, a B word that's not the bossy word, but, you know, the other B word that's often used to refer to women who are very strong and opinionated. So maybe I should only ask for this. Or maybe, yeah, if I only ask for this, then it might be easier. Before you even have the conversation, right? Or you say, oh, but I've got this idea. Oh, but maybe not, and maybe if I do this, and maybe if I don't, maybe then it'll be accepted. And my light bulb went off. I said, I do that all the time. And that's something that I would say to you, stop negotiating yourself down before the conversation even begins. Because there's going to be plenty of people out there who will try to negotiate you down anyway and make you try to feel like less. But let them know that you are more, and bring all of that into the conversation and show them your potential and what you can do. So again, thank you very much for the honor.
That is great advice, Julie. Congratulations. I think the other B word is box, and by serving as a champion for other people who may feel they don't fit in that box, you set an incredible example, so thank you. Our next Pinnacle Award is for achievement in the professions, and we are honored to present the award to Lucy Perez, senior partner at McKinsey & Company. Lucy advises global companies and CEOs on their growth strategy, innovation, and sustainability. She also leads McKinsey's global client service in sustainability and social impact strategy while advancing the company's diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts. As a former cancer researcher, Lucy brings her expertise and her diligence to her many roles, including the McKinsey Health Institute, which she co-leads. Lucy was recently named an Amplify Latinx 100 leader for her immense and transformative impact across the Commonwealth. And last night on WBZ, she was featured as this week's Changemaker because her work in making people around the world aware of the gender health gap will change women's health. Lucy recommends that we can be the solution to workplace challenges, be a problem solver, have a clear sense of purpose, ask for the support you need to drive the change you want, cultivate a diverse set of sponsors, and pay it forward. Lucy, congratulations.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is such an honor to be here and surrounded by so many amazing women leaders and the friends and communities that have helped us get here. For me, this is a very special celebration when we think about the 30th anniversary of the Pinnacle Awards, because it's actually 30 years ago that I came to this great city for the first time to begin my undergraduate studies. I was coming from Puerto Rico, so you probably can guess that the question that was most front and center was, will I survive the winter? Fortunately, I did. But never could I have imagined that I would be in a room like this at the podium 30 years later. And it is possible because of an amazing village around me. We often hear the expression, it takes a village. But what I think we don't talk of as much as women in business is how intentional you have to be about building that village. And so for me, what has been one of the biggest lessons learned is really around identifying the people to surround myself with. People who are not just going to say, oh, you're wonderful. We all love hearing that. But actually, people who are going to challenge us, who are going to make us raise our game, who are going to tell us you can be bolder in your aspirations, right? Who are going to help us be better, more inclusive leaders. And I am very, very fortunate to have formed that village. And what I have found is that with that village around you and a clear sense of purpose, anything is possible. I am extremely passionate about improving human health. And that comes from a place that being in good physical and mental health is a key enabler to driving change, I find. And so in thinking about, too many stories that I've heard over the years, and I think we probably all have plenty of those stories, of women in our lives who maybe have not been listened to by the healthcare system, whose pain has been minimized or normalized. This area of women's health has been one that has been very near and dear to my heart. And what has helped us really try to help make a difference in this space is really starting from, what is it? What's the change that we want to make possible? About a year ago, the World Economic Forum approached me with this idea that they wanted to have the topic of women's health in the agenda in Davos this year. Would I be willing to partner with them and bring the resources of the McKinsey Health Institute to answer the question around the economic case for investing in women's health? You would think this should be pretty clear, but sure, we can think. And I was, really excited by the outreach. And they said, we really think we need to focus around understanding what it takes to invest in sexual and reproductive health. I'm like, that sounds great. But I have one little change I would like to make. And that is, too often we simplify women's health to be sexual and reproductive health. But the reality is that women's health is so much more than that, right? It is about all the conditions that impact women differently or disproportionately as well. And the reality is that's the majority of the health burden, and that leads to women being in poor health for far longer than for men. And so I was thrilled that the World Economic Forum recognized, let's do this, and let's do this completely. Let's define women's health as that which is conditions that impact women uniquely, differently, or disproportionately. And what has been great is, we've put some numbers out there, and I hope many of you have been able to see the data, that we have shown that women spend 25% more time in poor health than men do. This really matters because a lot of this burden also, it's not just at the end of life. About half of that occurs during our prime working years. And so when you think about the economic case, what we were able to calculate is that we're talking about over $1 trillion of GDP contributions because of this health gap. The good news is it is highly addressable. And so for me, as I step back and think about what this experience of the last year has been, people often ask me, what's your favorite part of doing all this work? What's the number? Numbers are great, but actually people are even greater. And I would say my favorite part of all this work is actually the acknowledgement section of the report. It is where we get to celebrate the more than 40 organizations, some including from Boston, that were a part of this, the more than 50 colleagues within McKinsey that were a part of this, right? The strong teams that we have formed, and that now with the launch of the Global Alliance for Women's Health, we hope only continues to grow exponentially. And so in sharing that story, what I hope to convey is that we can all drive change, but driving that change begins with that clear understanding of what moves you, what gets you energy, what's that sense of purpose that you have. Finding the village of those people around you, the sponsors, the mentors, the friends, the colleagues that are going to help you, and being very clear with them what's the help that you need. Because the reality is, most of us are not mind readers. So conveying what is that help that you need. And then, we're all very lucky in this room. Let's make sure we pay it forward, that we bring those additional women with us into those rooms and make the world a better place for all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Lucy, and congratulations. We look forward to reporting on some of the advancements that come out of that report. It is our time now for our final Pinnacle Award, and it is the Pinnacle Award for Lifetime Achievement. And our honoree this year is Gail Goodman, the former CEO of Constant Contact, with the awesome cheering section, and the current board member of E4All, Shopify, and Jobber. Gail spent 17 years as CEO of Constant Contact, providing online marketing tools for small businesses and nonprofits. Known as a game-changing company, Constant Contact was led by Gail from pre-revenue to a successful IPO in 2007 through its acquisition in 2016 for $1.1 billion. As a true believer in the power of entrepreneurship, Gail helps people turn their dreams into reality through her work as board chair and mentor at E4All. In her role, Gail has seen entrepreneurship transform lives as well as whole communities. And if you need to be uplifted, just go to the website and read some of the testimonials, and your heart will be so happy. Gail advises all of us to be curious about your organization's mission and customer. Look beyond your current role to understand how you can make things work better. Drive positive change. Join me in a big round of applause and congratulations for Gail Goodman.
Good afternoon. Wow. Lifetime achievement. I'm so honored and humbled by the women who've come before me today on this stage. It is rarefied company. It's been quite a journey for me. Lots of success, but also some spectacular failures. So the Chamber asked that I share some advice and lessons learned along the way, and that kind of got me thinking. What did make me so successful? And the first thing that went through my head was a photo montage of all the teammates that I've worked with. We've heard teams as a theme here today, and I'm afraid I'm going to stick with the same theme. Because none of my success was really just me. It was always about team. And as some of my teammates in the room will know, I can't even fully develop an idea if I am not sitting around a table brainstorming with others. It takes a team for all of us to get to our best ideas. In the 17 years that I built Constant Contact, my greatest joy was watching the team learn and grow. Our bias was always to promote from within. So what that meant for the team, and for me in particular, is that we were always in the biggest job we'd ever had. So it fell on us to continue to level ourselves up so we could be ready for the challenges ahead. And we were constantly striving to be ready for that. It was my honor to coach and mentor the leaders at all levels of the organization, and I do want to thank the colleagues who have joined me here today. They were the final dream team of my tenure at Constant Contact. So today I just want to share a few thoughts on what I think made us successful, both as a team and as individuals. And I'm going to have three very simple themes. My first theme is put the customer first, always. So wherever you are in your organization or nonprofit, know and embrace your customer and their challenges. Companies exist to solve a customer problem, but sometimes that gets lost as we start to worry about growth and profitability. Hey, growth and profitability are super important, and you need to be following those. But the best companies succeed when their customers succeed. That is that classic win-win. So my advice to you is wherever you are in the organization, strive to know your customer and understand the connection between your role and customer success. even if you're just supporting an organization that's supporting customer success. Because if you know that and you're really observing it, then you have the opportunity to innovate, to make the customer experience better. And if that is what you are doing in your organization, you will stand out. Because when you put the customer first, everybody wins. My second theme is a little repetitive to some other folks, which is business is a team sport. It sounds a little trite, but it's super true. Unless you're a solo entrepreneur, you're on a team, and the success of the enterprise depends on the team succeeding, not the individual. My best leaders embraced this idea completely. They invested in peer relationships. They built trust. They communicated frequently. They leaned in to help a peer if things weren't going right. They offered up their resources with generosity and selflessness. They never tried to build empires or grab missions. It was always about the team. One of the secrets to getting that kind of collaboration is that it requires really strong alignment. Another word we've heard before today, on goals and priorities. Teamwork needs a shared mission. You won't get collaboration if people have competing goals or my success, requires you to not be successful. And so as leaders, it's really important that we strive to make sure there is common goals, common values, common culture, and mission alignment. I'll share that one of my favorite books is The Advantage by Patrick Lencioni. And it is all about how culture, teamwork, and mission alignment create a unique advantage in your company or organization. So if you haven't read it, definitely worth a pickup. And my final theme, which you'll probably get a laugh from my table, is that feedback is a gift. We often joked it was a gift we would much rather give than receive. We all have blind spots. And as leaders, if you don't know how your behavior or performance is impacting others, you can't improve. You can't change. So I would say self-awareness is a leadership skill. And it's not actually that easy to cultivate in the workforce. It requires vulnerability. And honestly, that's something that many women are told to leave at home. Right? We're supposed to be strong. We're supposed to be tough. And I have to say, self-awareness and vulnerability were not natural to me at all. I started my career in high tech during the years when the industry was very male-dominated. Sadly, I am not all that sure that it's different now, but things have changed a bunch. So I learned to speak up and voice my opinion in a room that wasn't listening. I learned to project an illusion of confidence, even when I was unsure. I learned to drive hard for business outcomes, to push, to be impatient. When I became a CEO, not all of those learned habits were helpful. When the company was small, I had my hands in everything. I had opinions about everything. I was in everybody's business all the time. And maybe when we were right at the start and rapidly iterating, that was necessary. But as we grew, it became a real bottleneck. And quite frankly, it annoyed the crap out of the team. Finally, one brave leader took me out to lunch and gave me the gift of feedback. My first response was not delight at the gift. But I did listen, and I began a process of regularly soliciting feedback from all around me inside and outside of the organization, so I could understand what the team needed from me at that moment. I became more self-aware. More self-aware not just of my outward behavior, but of my inner reactions. Self-awareness and the change that results from it is a journey that lasts a lifetime and pays dividends not just at work, trust me, but in relationships. So I do want to have a special thanks to my husband, who's been my partner on this journey of self-awareness. And my final advice to you is simply this: invest in knowing yourself deeply. It is a business skill. So thank you to Jim and the Chamber for this honor, and thank you for sticking with us today. Thank you.
Wait, Gail, don't leave. Wait, Gail, come right back, because I'm going to bring all the other honorees back on stage too. Congratulations. We're going to have a big feedback circle up here. These are all shining examples of the reason, one, we are so proud to live in Greater Boston, why we love this lunch. And I was thinking as we were listening to the wisdom of these honorees today, that even the people who aren't in this room with us do benefit from the standpoint that when we take the advice of these honorees to get more from ourselves, we're able to give back to the people around us. And so it really is a gift to be in this room. I want to thank Jim and the Chamber for including me again. I want to thank our past Pinnacle Award honorees. I also want to again thank our presenting sponsors, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts, Seyfarth Shaw and TJX, the Castle Group, Eastern Bank, EMK Consulting, and InSource, our supporting sponsors. Our past honoree sponsors, Deloitte and Suffolk, you always come through for us. To my WBZ family for serving as the media partner for this fabulous event. I'm going to take that negotiation advice too. To our many corporate table sponsors, to my friend Susan Lecanto-Penta and the Women's Advisory Network, here's to the next 30 years, it's amazing. And to all of these incredible women and their teams, congratulations. Thank you for being with us, and enjoy your afternoon.
Watch me.